Okay, welcome. It is a Friday. It's a freaky, freaky Friday on a September 4th. And here we are barreling through the week and coming into a weekend, a holiday weekend, going into Labor Day. And that kind of just officially is the, well, not officially. It's the non-official end of the summer, really. Yeah. Jay Parker, Brian Freeman, myself, Greg Holland back in Studio Kitchen, Colorado today. A big show for you. And what you're seeing is a photo that's on the screen of, and we've talked about it, you guys, what's going to happen when the rubber meets the road with a lot of these leases? What's it going to look like? Is it going to mean your stuff's going to be out in the street? And literally what we are seeing here is in the landmark. You know, that's in the DTC, the landmark. That is this gentleman who we'll introduce to the show right now. His name is Wayde Jester. And Wade's joining us from Boulder, Colorado at his other Zeal Food location. And we want to welcome you to the Modern Eater Show today. And thank you so much for taking the time, Wayde.
Thank you, guys. Happy to be here. I certainly didn't expect what happened this week to unfold the way it did, but here we are.
I can't say that I have seen this as of yet. And we have to believe that this is COVID-related. I'm looking at a photo of posted on your Zeal Foods DTC Facebook page, and I'll just let you take it from there. Please describe us what we're seeing. And this, you may not be able to see it, but this is the photo with the tower building in the background and the cones in the parking lot. With a lot of goods stacked up. Is he frozen or is he posing?
Wouldn't you know, I think he's frozen.
So this was the...
Okay, we want to be able to hear you loud and clear. You broke out there for about 5-10 seconds. I'm glad you're back with us. I'll just reinstate this. Wayde Jester here with us. The photo should still be up on the stream right now from Zeal Food, the DTC location. We're showing you a photo that was posted off of the Zeal Foods Facebook page, and Wayde Jester, the owner-operator of Zeal Foods, is on here to describe what we're looking at here.
So we came into work on Wednesday morning, and the scene that unfolded in the back parking lot was basically all the contents of our restaurant had been moved, bagged or rolled out of there, and took up about 12 parking spaces in the back. Our back door is about 30 yards just to the south of that picture, and we were shocked. We had received a notice from the sheriff's department to be out of the space by Monday. We hadn't received any direct contact by the landlord, and we were well behind on rent. Actively trying to talk about a path forward, some sort of rent that was tied to the amount of sales we were doing amid the COVID crisis. I mean, our revenues, like I'm sure most restaurants, were impacted severely since March, and we were, in there fighting every day with our small team to stay in business and to keep our staff employed and keep to stay in this community that we were getting more and more awareness of from over the last year and a half that we've been open. So just to back up a little bit, we were Zeal opened in the landmark in November of 2018. So we're about a year and a half in existence now, and we had our first. Typically most restaurants take a few years if they're going to be profitable and they're going to survive. It takes them a few years to get to that point. We finally turned a profit in January of this year, 2020, and matched our sales from last August. So things were looking great. And then then COVID hit in March, and we had to shut down, and then we reopened, for curbside on a limited basis, and then eventually reopened for our mostly patio seating and socially distanced indoor dining. We stopped paying rent in March because we would have been out of business by April. We were operating at that narrow a margin, and opening restaurants is tough. And after burning through all our operating capital in the first year, we were really needing to turn a profit this year. By not paying rent for the last 5 months, we were able to keep the doors open. We also got some PPP money, not a lot, but we got a little bit of PPP money, and we're able to keep all of our staff hired during that time. And August, we just closed out the month of August, had our best month yet since COVID hit, but probably still doing about only 50% of the revenues, the top line sales that we would have in August had this whole pandemic not unfolded. So we were definitely in a pinch, and trying to request some concession from the landlord to give us some rent that was tied to sales, something that we could achieve even if business were to slow down in the fall a little bit again. We don't know what's going to happen when people are driven more indoors, and what the impacts are going to be. So, but in talking, the landlord was not willing to negotiate on anything going forward. They just wanted to be paid for what we owed for the last 5 or 6 months, plus some utilities that were older than that. And I mean, the whole I think amount was somewhere starting to approach to $60,000 to $70,000 in payments, and we just didn't have that cash to pay that out. But we were willing to chip away at it over time, and we were willing to stay open and continue to pay some rent. As I said, we just needed to be able to be able to make payroll each week, and pay our vendors, and just eke out a break even. I mean, we didn't need profits, but just a break even number. And I never imagined that the solution would be to vacate the space, but that seems to be their choice, to send us out, to close the doors on Zeal permanently there, and deal with releasing that space. And I can't imagine how long that's going to take. I don't see the business sense in kicking out a tenant who is willing to pay something. I know I'm going to get pursued, by attorneys now to pay what was owed, plus probably the lease payments going forward. But it's a crying shame to send a community asset like Zeal out into the street, and it's heartbreaking to see that. But we've had some amazing support by our friends and family. People are cheering us on, and it was motivating me to want to speak out about this. And until that space is leased, there's an opportunity for us to move back in there and resume operations. So I feel like that landlords like ours, while they're acting within the bounds of the law, I don't think they're really considering the impact they have on the community when something like this happens.
Wow. Okay. Lot to take in, and I just want to do a quick recap. I took notes throughout that because I think we can have a great conversation here. This is the voice of Wayde Jester and the owner-operator of Zeal Foods, 2 locations, Boulder and now the the ousted location from the DTC and Landmark. I will tell you that we reached out to Sperry Real Estate. I did not. Jay Parker did, and they did not have any comment on the record comment. What I can tell you is that we will be seeing a lot of this in the near future as we round into the fourth quarter of this year and heading into 2021. This tenant-landlord dispute thing is going to be coming up early and often. What we're seeing here is a gentleman that's been in the space for 1.5 years, many more years left on the lease, and I've just got to jump in and ask you a couple of questions. First of all, you obviously recognize that landlords have their bills to pay as well, and other folks that they're debtors that they need to pay.
For sure.
Yeah. And also, I was wondering about the space. Were you the first in 1.5 years ago? Did you build that space out to your specs, or did you take over a location from somebody else?
We did. We were not the first occupant of that space, but we changed it over from an art gallery, which it had been since Landmark opened about 10 years ago, into a restaurant. So we invested in significantly in had to plumb and provide the electrical and install the ventilation system, and it's about as expensive. It's about as expensive as it gets in terms of opening a restaurant.
Wayde, so you feel that you've not only offered upgrades to the place, but you offer some good value with the Zeal brand as well. You're better there.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
You're better there than not.
We built this space specifically to operate Zeal, and anyone else that comes into that restaurant is going to have to change things around, which is going to require more investment and more time in order to to make that space suit their needs. But we built out this space as having learned from our first Boulder restaurant about exactly what we wanted the layout to be. We included a beautiful dining room that was accommodating both to business lunches and date nights out. So it was a warm atmosphere. We had a nice bar. We had a roll-up garage door that we put in to kind of create that open air feel that I think is so important in Colorado. But we had challenges there too. We were an inline location, and a lot of the big successful restaurants at Landmark have corners. We had no highway presence, nothing on the marquee out there to show that we were there. So we really had to build our business organically, which takes time, and try to do it one customer and one referral at a time.
Absolutely.
We were on that. It's sad because I am not a victim, but it is sad because we were definitely on the right track prior to COVID, and we were able to meet our obligations, and this did severely impact our abilities to operate. But you can't ignore the fact that we got unlucky in having to partner with a landlord that just is not interested in resolving things to a compromise. I can't say anything more than that.
We're going to show the photo. We're showing the photo.
To unceremoniously kick us to the curb like that. It's just, it was beyond shocking.
Okay.
Surreal.
Wayde, and I know everything's raw right now, and again, that's why we appreciate you being here with us on the stream today. Your business, you said, has been running at very small margins. In March and April, you said you had about a month leeway, so going into COVID, it just wasn't reasonable for you to pay 5 months' worth of rent. So to be clear, you haven't paid 5 months' worth of rent, but you have paid your rent every single month leading up to this since you've been in your lease.
Yeah. That's the facts. Those are the facts.
Those are the facts.
We even this is on us as well, but we even paid about 7 months of rent, 100% of our rent and expenses before we opened, because our build out took. We had some construction issues, and our build out took longer than expected, and we made good, and it depleted our reserves drastically, but in the interest of fulfilling our obligations, we owned it and paid rent from the moment it became due until this March, and then it just became too. I mean, we would have been closed, as I said, within 30 days.
Tell me about your pivoting in order. You see a lot of restaurants having to change up their models a little bit. They've gotten patio variances, that they've increased their patio business. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing during COVID to try and get a little bit of traction to maintain some businesses? Did you get a patio variance, first of all?
We weren't able to get a patio variance because the street outside of our restaurant space, of our existing patio, it had we had a small barrier wall, and then there was a sidewalk which we couldn't obstruct, and then there was the city street, which we also could not obstruct. We were just out of bad luck. We weren't able to have access to the patio outside of Zeal's front doors into the street because of the needs of the city of Greenwood Village to have rights of way and for fire and access by emergency services. So it just wasn't on the table for us. But honestly, I don't know that would have made enough of a difference, because what we're really fighting is a shift in the comfort that consumers feel going out to eat, and I think because we tend to be our restaurant is a healthier choice restaurant. I hate to use the term healthy restaurant because it sounds like the food's boring, but it's really not. We just really try and cater to a crowd that's more thoughtful about what they eat, and I think our consumer demographic is reluctant to take risks in dining out, and so a lot of them are more self-sufficient and eating at home. We've made, in order to try and be relevant to people that want the safety of home, we've been able to do online ordering, curbside pickup the entire time. We've utilized Grubhub and Uber Eats to allow people to have the convenience of having the food delivered, and then we've created we've been accommodating to any needs for distancing and for patio seating that we could. And it really wasn't, for us, I don't think it was a capacity problem. We had enough seating, and we had enough, we had the right elements in place to work. But, because we're a new business and because we're still getting discovered, I was shocked, during this whole unfolding of COVID operations, how many new customers we were finding. But it's just, then I'd see some of our returning customers, and I'd say, "Man, we haven't seen you in a while." And they say, "Yeah, this is the first time we've been out to eat in months." And that's the shift in consumer behavior that makes it so hard to operate.
Okay, lots to unpack here. Wait, I want to do this, and I want to let the other guys in here because I think they might have a couple of questions. And I put a poll up on the stream. Should Zeal have been literally, well, I spelled it wrong. I should go back. It says, should Zeal have been kicked to the curb from what you were hearing. I just want to make the distinction. You said Wednesday you came into work, and with the photo that we were showing is how you were greeted. Am I to understand that Tuesday when you left work, everything was in place, and the next morning this is kind of something that was done in the shadows of the night?
Yeah. I mean, it was done early in the morning, before the center really comes alive. The only very cool. There's only 2 businesses that are open for dining that early, and but yeah, we came in and it was done. We locked it up on Tuesday night in the usual state, and came in the morning, and the locks had been changed, and everything that could be moved without a professional plumber or electrician, including all of the shelves, were just scraped and bagged, and broken glass and broken plates and just carnage. Just like the walk-in and the freezer were just emptied out and thrown in bags into the hot blacktop.
Were you able to gain access back into the location? No. So the doors were locked. No. Your stuff was all okay.
Locked out.
And it's removed from the parking lot at this point, right?
Right. So then we scrambled yesterday to try and recover whatever we could. Brought some food up to Boulder, and rented a storage unit nearby, and rented a U-Haul, and started and my my friends and family chipped in, and we had some amazing people that showed up to lend a hand, just to kind of help us buy pizza, pour cold water, organize parking spots that were out there into groups of materials, so we knew what we throw stuff away. And it was an incredible effort by a small team, but we, in about a day and a half, we got it all cleaned up and stored or disposed of.
Wayde Jester here with Zeal Foods, DTC. How are you on time? I'd like to do this. Just break away for just a couple of minutes to hear from our local sponsors. But I'd like to come back, and I'm sure Brian Freeman has a couple of questions, and maybe Jay Parker as well. But just an unfortunate situation that I think we're going to see a lot more of. I think that in your mind, just by listening to you, that you have some sort of amiable agreement that you would like to have or reach with Sperry Real Estate, which, by the way, is not a local real estate company. I believe they're out of California. Would you mind coming back and having that unfettered, unencumbered, uninterrupted, unfiltered message that you can give to Sperry Real Estate of how you would like to see this outcome resolved?
Sure.
I'd appreciate that. Okay, we'll break away. We'll come right back. Also, I don't know if you've seen the weather or not, Brian, right?
Oh, yeah, I watch it every day, babe. You know me.
The weather is very interesting here in Colorado, and very Colorado-like, although I really worry about a lot of things. If it's going to be Saturday 98, Sunday 96, Monday 91, how in the world is it going to be 39 degrees as a high on Tuesday with snow in the forecast? And that's in Denver. Then Wednesday, bouncing back to a balmy 53, and Thursday 64, Friday 73, and resuming fall weather after that. Not hugely out of the normal, but what does that do to our food chain?
Yeah, it could have some major impacts, although, one of the things, man, there's not another profession in the world you can be wrong 90% of the time and still get a paycheck.
So I told you, we are on the eve of Brian and I heading out, and we're going to cover some food, beverage, and agriculture in Southwest Florida, Colorado style. We're going in real safe, right?
Yep.
We're wrapping it up, in other words. We are going to go into Florida. What? Don't look at me like that, Jay.
What are you talking about?
Putting my mask on and heading into Florida. All right. It is a Friday, a September 4th. We've got a really interesting story. This is making news right here, breaking on the Modern Eater Show with Wayde Jester and Zeal Foods. There's obviously two sides to every story. Sperry Real Estate did not want to talk in very corporate fashion, right? We're seeing if we can come to some kind of amiable agreement right here on the Modern Eater Show. We'll send that message back out to them. It is a freaky Friday. What does that mean? It means that we're going to finish up here with Wayde Jester, and then we're going to talk to some farmers. And we're going to talk to Calvin Bailey from Stubborn Roots, and then we're going to talk to Julie Marrone from Petrocco Farms. What is this dip in temperatures going to do? And I'll take Brian's seat, and Brian's going to take mine, and we're going to do a Freaky Friday right here on the Modern Eater Show. We'll be back with Wayde Jester. That's next. The Modern Eater Show continues.
We started Meridian Spirits because we love the way that spirits and cocktails can bring people together to socialize, to bond, to have conversations. Well, right now we've got some big conversations to have. Coupe Vodka and Coupe Gin are available at liquor stores across the metro area, but if you can't find us or would like to have us behind your bar or at your restaurant, send us an email, info@meridianspirits.com. We know things are a little different these days, but think of us the next time you're planning a virtual happy hour or a socially distant picnic. And keep an eye on our social media, Coupe by Meridian, for all the latest and greatest.
Hey, Dave Thibodeau here. Hey, friends of the Modern Eater. This is Dave Thibodeau from Ska Brewing and Peach Street Distillers. I wanted to let you know that our new brew distillery is up and running again in Boulder. And we've got a great selection of Ska beers, nearly 30 on tap. We've also got all of our Peach Street spirits available, a great mixology program that we brought down from the Western Slope and Palisade. We're open limited hours, Wednesday through Friday from 3 to 10, and then we open up earlier at 10 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday and get some brunch action rolling. We have two great patios. Socially distant seating is available, and you can always check for more information at scastreet.com, and hope we become your new favorite neighborhood spot. And I'd like to meet you there in the not too distant future for a beer or a drink soon. So take care, be healthy, and stay strong. And I'll talk to you later.
Hi guys, it's Cody Ann from Aspen Baking Company. We specialize in fresh, preservative-free, amazing bread. But with all the food news, go right here to the Modern Eater.
Hey, Zach Ryder here, Colorado Mills Sunflower Products out of Lamar, Colorado. Your only local source, grown from a local crop to produce a local oil for local chefs. You can find it at Shamrock Foods, What Chefs Want, Seattle Fish Company. Let me try it one more time, then we'll see. Hey, restaurants, we're glad you're reopening. From Colorado Mills Sunflower Oil, we'll see you soon.
First, we partner with the best farmers in the world, and then we tell them, we will take it all. Process whole spices daily, blend custom spices to order, keep it fresh, safe, and flavorful, all so that you can get back to doing what you do best. So whether you're a restaurant, a food manufacturer, or an at-home cook, be sure to visit The Spice Guy at www.thespiceguyco.com.
All right, it's a holiday weekend, and you're getting ready for it, I know. Boy, there were some problems getting up I-70 today. There's a big accident earlier in the morning, and it really just threw a hitch in people's holiday plans, and I think people are trying to get out of there early. So be safe and travel very safely this weekend, as I know you want to get on.
Well, tensions are high, man. I think all the way around we were saying the world is in an interesting place, and now you just got to have a little patience and compassion.
I'll tell you what, Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions, a great local brand. He's the man with the plan. He's installing delicious tap systems everywhere, custom installs, because he wants your beer to taste just like the brewer intended it to taste. But I'll tell you what, he doesn't stop there. He will make sure you have maintenance done, Brian.
I love
Maintenance is essential. You could have the most beautiful car in the world. You got to maintain it. You could have the most beautiful home in the world. You got to maintain it. You can have the most beautiful tap system in the world, but you got to maintain it.
Well, or the best beer in the state, and pouring through those, and if they're not clean, what are they?
You blew my mind, Brian. What they are is not acceptable, and we want you to have the best beer draft systems ever. So Jeff Rourke and A Plus Beverage Solutions, if you're pouring your money, what did I just say?
It's Freaky Friday, baby.
I had a stroke. If you're pouring inefficient beer, what are you doing, boys?
You're pouring your money down the drain.
Don't pour your money down the drain. Give them a call, 720-272-3809. 720-272-3809. That's the phone number. It's Jeff Rourke and A Plus Beverage Solutions. Okay, it's September 4th, and we are getting ready for a weekend as well. This gentleman, Wayde Jester, just seems to be this is our first acquaintance with him. I know you've known him for a while, haven't you, Brian?
I've known Wayde for several years. Ran a great restaurant up in Boulder.
Zeal Food. Okay, my kind of food. I like
Zeal,
it.
Actually, it's Zeal Food for Enthusiasts.
Food for enthusiasts. Yes. And that's what it should be. Okay, Wayde, we told you we wanted to do this, and we were going to come back. I think it's just a very unfortunate situation all the way around. You were saying that the communication hasn't been the greatest at Sperry Real Estate, and maybe this could be resolved with communication. I don't know. What do you think? Where do you think it's going to go? Where would you like it to land? You take the floor. Just talk about how you would like to see this get resolved. Would you, Wayde?
I mean, you know, I'm an optimist. I wouldn't be an entrepreneur. I wouldn't be in the restaurant business unless I was optimistic. I sort of feel like until somebody else moves into that space, we're the best operator to run it. We're the probably the best opportunity to turn that space into a revenue producing space for the owners. And we're more than willing to come to the table and discuss a reasonable path forward. In this kind of climate, I think you have to, you know, if you care to try and keep somebody in business and keep your real estate producing some tangible benefits for you other than just being an empty shell sitting there waiting, you know, the angel to step in. We have to tie our rental payments to production, and until COVID is in the rearview mirror, until there's a universally successful solution to whether that's whether it's really effective treatments of the disease or a vaccine that prevents it from spreading. I think that, you know, that the restaurant industry, the food and beverage and hospitality industry, hotels, I mean, we've all been zeroed out by this pandemic, and to maintain an empty space in a property like Landmark, I don't see how that's beneficial to the landlord. I would think that if I were in their shoes, I would do anything to keep the people in there. And I would say, you know, forget about the past. We got to move forward. You know, what can you pay? What can we reasonably require in terms of rental from you? And how do we measure that and track it and adjust it going forward so that we can step it up as your business starts to improve, or retract if something cataclysmic happens and we have to, you know, again, button up. I mean, we don't know what the future holds. We're in uncharted territory, and I think that this requires communication, and it requires a willingness to accept that this is a real economic issue. And, you know, for restaurants to come out of this at all looking like they used to, opposing parties need to start working together. And I've talked to other operators in the Landmark, and the only thing
we lost him right at
the point. Cliffhanger.
Commercial has off percent reduction, right? That's the concessions I've heard. Nothing or a little something. So, I mean, it's just like, to me, there's just no way as an independent operator I'm going to survive that.
Wayde, rewind a minute. We lost you right when you said, I've talked to some other owner-operators in the Landmark. Could you continue right from there?
Oh, yeah. I talked to some other operators in Landmark, and I heard from them that Sperry Commercial only offered 2 concessions that I've discovered. One was nothing, and the other one, which is not a concession, but was the response to the request, and then the other one was 20%. So I think everything's sort of falling between the guy that got 20% was one of the other smaller businesses, and I just laughed at that because 20% reduction in rent, could help us if we were suffering something around a 10 to 20% reduction in sales. But to have a 70 to 80% reduction in sales for 3 months, and then, to be hitting a some sort of operating stabilization point at about 50% of sales is just, if you're trying to hit anything near the mark of rent and economics around operating a restaurant pre-pandemic, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't pencil out.
You're about to see the daisy chain effect as I asked you the question of, don't you believe your landlord has somebody that they have to pay as well? And obviously the bankers would nod their heads yes. And I think that this needs to be more of a call to on a federal level of what we're seeing here and what we're about to see, because that daisy chain effect will take place. And this is ground level. When there is somebody's business in a parking lot, that means something's broken right now. Yeah. And we're talking to Wayde Jester. We're going to end this conversation, but I have to tell you, Wayde, I have to believe, and I've got some other media friends myself, I'm going to send this over to Fox 31 News. We'll get to the bottom of really what's going on, but I think more or less of you stepping to the forefront and not being afraid to tell your story, and also be very just gracious about and open. To have that smile on your face when the past few days have must just been very, very difficult for you and your team is a testament to what you do. So I'd like to leave on a positive note, as folks can still get your delicious food in Boulder. Can you talk about what you are doing and what you are able to do right now, and Wayde, and leave us on that positive note going into the weekend?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I feel. I mean, this was a bad day in a wonderful life, and I'm so lucky to have the the support of my team of employees and my family and friends, and it's when you go through when you go through moments like this, I think it's so enriching to recognize that the depth of people's feelings and the extent to which they'll go to lend a hand. It's just awesome. But bad couple of days, but I'm here in Boulder right now, and we are open for business, breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the east end of Boulder, right off about a block away from the Google campus, a block east of the Pearl Street Whole Foods. And we've been you guys still there?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry.
Welcome back.
Calling me. Did I lose you?
No, we heard everything you were saying. We just couldn't see it. So you're talking about where people can find you, and just continue on. I really want to hear.
Yeah. So I'll give you a quick tour. I'm standing on the patio of restaurant here in Boulder. We've got this awesome covered patio that I'm really looking forward to welcoming the fall weather, because we've got some heaters here, and we're working on a fire pit down on this end. We haven't even opened the inside yet, because it's been such a great opportunity for outdoor dining and we have lots of seats, and so we're open and ready to welcome in our fans. I hate to have people have to drive up from DTC to come join us here, but if they can make a weekend out of it in Boulder, or or some other occasion. There's no football games this season, but we've got capacity. We've got a great team here.
It's like a beautiful place, Wayde.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, listen, best of luck to you. We'd love to do a follow-up with you as the days and weeks go on. But the best of luck to you, and you seem like a resilient guy that's, you said you're an entrepreneur, so you know the ebb and flow, that's for sure.
For sure. Well, thanks for guys. Thanks for taking an interest and listening to the story, and I appreciate what you do, and glad to be a new fan of your program.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you, Wayde. Tell Chelsea I said hello.
We hope something excellent comes from your appearance today, and really hope that you can get back up and operating again. Thanks, Wayde.
Thank you.
That's Wayde Jester right there, Zeal Foods. And I'll tell you what, you guys, I don't know whether I probably haven't said it in a while, but you can learn everything in life from Goodfellas and Worldwide Wrestling. Okay.
Now, where do you go with the Worldwide Wrestling?
Well, because everything's either a shoot or a grift, So everything's already put on, but it's a great show. There's nothing really too much that in life. But I'll tell you, when it comes to the Goodfellas, all I can keep thinking about ringing in my ears is F you pay me. It's the rubber's got to meet the road somewhere, and his landlord has someone to pay as well.
Well, and this goes into, we could get real deep on this one, Greg, because that company that owns they're in Southern California, but they're not. They're 100% owned Chinese company. So listen, the reality is we gave away all that, and now when they want to put the axe on us, we don't have room.
Well, that's a pretty broad stroke conversation, but this conversation is not going anywhere. I can tell you that much. It's going to continue to develop, and there's going to continue to be other instances just like this, whether it's a Chinese-owned real estate, commercial real estate company or a locally owned real estate company. At the end of the day, people want to get paid. Yeah. And the sad testament to whatever the case may be, but 5 months, Wayde Jester was unable to pay or did not pay. And it's all perspective. Is it would not pay, did not pay, or could not pay?
Well, and it's so hard because I think for anyone to look through his lens.
And every instance is going to be different,
totally.
But every instance is going to be treated the same.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough thing.
Well, and where I was going with that Chinese thing is it's just about compassion. The reality is somebody overseas might not have the same compassion as your neighbor. But maybe not, because like you said, the rubber has to hit the road somewhere. And listen, I've got big payments.
Yes.
Everybody in the chain has big payments to make. And, yes.
It's a tough one, man.
And, you got to have compassion.
I'm going to send this out to some of my talk show host friends. I'm going to send it over to Deborah Takahara at 9 News. I'm sorry, at Fox 30. Man, I just switched her job. Deborah, I know. You're at Fox 31. I'm going to send it over to Deborah. And I don't necessarily side with – I'm split down the middle. Well,
I think there's a lot to unpack there. Like we said, there could have been two hours worth of just fact-finding because, what did he do with his PPP? Why didn't he use it for rent like a lot of people did?
And how could you want him back in? If you were failing for 5 months, what makes you think the next 5 months you were going to succeed?
Yeah.
Why would they want to put you back in if you've just self-admittedly said that you can't operate that place and turn a profit right
Well, and
now?
It's sad because, like you said, August was my best month.
Yeah.
And
if you've got that Boulder mindset of not opening up your dining room or not opening up your patio or whatever, if you've got that mindset, I'll tell you what, that might not be the best location for you to be at right now. And maybe you need a window somewhere and with just a patio. I'm not sure, but the business model doesn't work there, especially if you can't pay your rent. I mean, at the end of the day, man, I'll tell you what, we're in a lease thing right now here at Studio Kitchen, Colorado. It's like, you want to sign it or do you not want to sign it? It's up to you what you want to do. But, here's the parameters of which you work in. I don't necessarily agree to go into a parking lot and see all your shit on the curb.
Yeah, at all. That's just unacceptable. But what do you do?
In the middle of the night?
Yeah.
Man, you're operating the day before.
I know.
Then the next day.
Well, see, here's the funny thing, right? Is that you say that, right? But then you don't know. I mean, if it came to that, if like, I mean, there's points where things come to that, right? To where, this, as far as we know, the landlord could have been the nicest person in the world, and you never know anything. And they just got to a point, and they're like, dude, we can't.
I'm sure that's what it was. It was 5 months.
Well, and it's sad because you see, Wayde broke down.
Yeah.
He was shedding tears because. This is
maybe he should have planned an exit strategy more. I'm telling you guys, if there's anything that the Modern Eater wants to do as your daily source for your food and beverage news here in Colorado to keep you connected, we want to make sure that you're getting topics exactly like this, because that's what's going to be important. Yeah. And if you're going to learn from a Wayde Jester on what you want to do or don't want to do, you're going to see that here first. So we appreciate his time today. Yeah, here's one thing that is also uncertain. It's Colorado weather. It's Colorado weather, man.
And the one that it drives the craziest is these guys right here.
He's been patient as hell, and Calvin Bailey, he's out giving us a great backdrop right now, too. Calvin, not unfortunately, because we'll be back with you, but we do want to take a quick time out, and then we'll come back with Stubborn Roots, Calvin Bailey. That'll be next. Right here, the Modern Eater Show continues.
Hi guys, it's Rebecca Berry with Hot Schedules powered by Ford. With all of the recent COVID rules and regulations, you may feel like you have way too many cooks in the kitchen. Well, fortunately, Ford is the leading hospitality provider and partner when it comes to onboarding, HR, payroll, tax, and compliance needs. So that way you can keep all of those cooks in the kitchen and let us manage all of your administrative needs. That way you can focus back on your business and your growth plans. Give me a call for an analysis on how we can put that ROI back into your business and take those administrative burdens off your hands. Nobody likes handling taxes. That's Rebecca.Berry@Fork.com, Rebecca.Berry@Fork.com. And hey, it's cool, guys? Keeping your mask on so that way we can keep our doors open.
Call George after he said.
Hey, Modern Eater fans, I'm Don Trobo with the Annex by Ardent Mills, and I just wanted to give you a heads up about some of the great
he was
things
in there for 10 minutes
locally in the state. We're headquartered right here. And we're working with farmers in the San Luis Valley to bring
now we don't have
amazing Colorado quinoa. It's just like the South American stuff, but grown locally. We've got transitional wheat flour that's grown by
10 seconds,
farmers
Freeman. I'm doing Aspen, though, but 10 seconds.
Are in the process of turning their fields into organic. So we're taking that transitional wheat and turning it into flour, and now it's available for you to cook and bake with. And last but not least, we're now cleaning grain berries in Denver. So things like spelt or wheat berries, or pearl barley. Those are things that we're now doing right here locally and are available to you. Can't wait to share it with you.
Back to the show in just a second, but before that happens, I want to talk to you about something very important, bread and where you're getting your bread. AspenBaking.com is where you want to go to get the most fresh bread baked locally in Denver since 1994. Cody Ann and Jeffrey over there are doing amazing things.
You look like James Hetfield today.
Who's James Hetfield?
The lead singer of Metallica, man. You got the black wristband on.
Oh, I thought we were on remote.
All black.
This is my remote
and the hat
thing.
Backwards. I'm just ready for you to sing "Ride the Lightning" or "Master of Puppets" or something for me.
Jump in the fire, baby.
I don't know any of those songs.
You don't?
I mean, I've heard of Master of the Puppets.
You're looking good, baby, and you know why you are? Because you enjoy that delicious bread.
It's all the bread. Gluten is my savior, and I pray to gluten every day. And
you
should
too. They got the good gluten, though, man.
They're
not cutting corners with any of their ingredients.
No. And AspenBaking.com. If you're a bread lover like me, because that's what I love is bread. I don't love
Metallica.
Anything else. And Metallica, apparently. I'll Google Enter the Sandman. That's all I know. Enter the Sandman. Something like that. Rock and Roll loves bread, as a matter of fact. AspenBaking.com. Catering, obviously, they do that. If you want to order direct, you can do that. If you want to do Amazon Fresh, you can do that. Coffee cakes, pound cake. If you bake it, they make it. You know what I'm saying? And sourdough. That's
do they know that tagline you just made up? If you can bake it, they make it.
If you can bake it, they make it. I'll send it. I talked to Cody Ann today. As a matter of fact, she's far out, man. She's like, we love everything you're doing. We love bread. We love Denver. We love gluten. I said,
we love life.
I said,
love local, baby.
Yeah. We love love.
Throw a couple more taglines in there, Jay.
And then I said, back to the show.
Nice. And it is a September 4th. Oh, it's a Freaky Friday. Brian, get ready to hold on. I just want to restate what we're doing here. Temperatures, weather is going nuts. This last conversation. Okay, we're getting emails in and a couple of text messages. But there's other folks that are obviously doing business there in the Landmark. And there's two sides to every story. Obviously, we wanted to let the gentleman talk, Wayde Jester. The bottom line is that there are a lot of businesses right now, and some will be defunct just because they don't do great business. I don't know Wayde Jester as a businessman. I don't know his business acumen. I don't have any background on that. All we wanted to do is let that gentleman tell his story.
Yep.
This is not going to go away. Everything comes out in the wash, Brian.
Yes, it does.
Didn't your granny tell you that?
Yes,
it
does.
Switch seats with me. It's a Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday. Here we go. Okay.
Well, excellent, everyone. Excellent, everyone. It is Friday, September 4th in the Mile High City here in Colorado.
We changed roles.
And you are watching the Modern Eater Show right here. Jay Parker, Greg Hollenbach, and myself, Brian Freeman. We are stoked. We started the show with the eviction notice, but now we're bringing you home because this is my home. This is Farmer Lane, and Brian's jumping in with Calvin Bailey, Stubborn Roots Farm. Calvin, thanks for coming on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what happened.
He probably got bored of waiting.
But we lost him.
Oh, Calvin.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
back,
Freeman, because you
Calvin.
had. Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, wait, that's Julie Petrocco. Well, maybe we'll just do it backwards.
Here we go. Well, we can either go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, all day.
Let's see Julie's backdrop. Where's Julie at?
Oh, Julie Petrocco. Or Julie Marrone. I'm sorry.
Hey, Julie.
Should probably do that. Well.
Hello.
I'm trying to connect to you guys.
Oh, we can hear you now, so it's good. There, we're started.
Hi.
We lost Calvin.
We just lost your video, Julie.
And her.
And that thing.
There we go.
I mean, I don't know if...
It's Freaky Friday, babe. It's okay. Listen, I'll hold down the fort. So what we're about to talk to these two farmers about is the fact that Colorado weather has more impact on our food and our crops than most people understand.
But it's a big deal, don't you think?
It's a major deal. Listen, most people go to the grocery store and think it gets there magically. When I used to talk to kids at schools, I'd ask them, where do you think your food comes from? And they'd all say a truck. And they don't realize that it takes people like Julie Marrone and her brother,
Did you see what
Joe
Susan
Petrocco.
Petrocco said on the stream?
Yeah, that she'd bring us some more eggs.
And she said, Friday means nothing to farmers. We work 24/7. Labor Day, what's that mean? Yeah, and truly, farmers, the unsung heroes, huh?
Yes, farmers are the unsung hero. And
we should go out and howl for farmers at dinner time.
Exactly.
I mean, literally, right?
Yeah, we really should. So, Julie Marrone, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How is...
Man.
It's a Freaky Friday.
Well, I mean, it's that, but it's the freaking internet.
So here, let's talk about, we're on the Front Range, folks, and we have crazy weather inversions. And what that means is at the drop of a dime, like everyone knows that lives in Colorado, you say you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes because it's going to change. And that's the reality. Like on the drop of a dime in Colorado, we could have hail, snow, or heat that's going to crisp our crops.
Down.
Yeah, or it's burning, like the Western Slope was burning a couple weeks ago.
Crazy weather we've been experiencing.
And so the reality is for these poor farmers who are, you only have a very short window. In Colorado, our growing seasons, most people don't know this. We only have about 139 to 141 day growing season in Colorado, which is nothing. If you think about it, we've got 300.
I mean, you can't just get together and call it 140.
Well,
it's 139 or 141.
But it's been changing because of climate change. But so things are changing, but it's a very short window. Let's say it's 140. The reality is 365 days of the year, you want to eat. You want to get your Aspen bread, and you want something in between that bread. Usually there's lettuce, tomato, and some ham or turkey. And the reality is the lettuce and tomatoes that these guys are growing. Oh, we got both of them back. I like this where we're going now. But these guys are the people that are growing food for us year round.
Yeah.
And whether they have to move into some greenhouses or hoop houses, or if some of them, like Julie's got, the Petroccos have such a big operation, they say, okay, this is the time. We make hay when the sun shines. But, hey, I want to give Calvin, you have been, so Julie, if you could hang with us just 1 second, please. Yeah. Calvin has been super, super patient while we were interviewing Wayde Jester out at Zeal. This is Calvin Bailey with Stubborn Roots Farm, and you are up in northern Colorado, aren't you, Calvin?
Yeah, we're up in Fort Collins, just on the east side, right near Timnah.
And you know what? People love you up there. I talked to a bunch of the chefs, in the day, and I know the guys at the kitchen were using you. So many people who wanted to go local, but you couldn't even supply everything for them on top of your farmer's market. Tell people a little bit about your farm, Calvin.
So we actually just got started this season, kind of as a response to COVID. My wife and I, for the last 10 years, have farmed for other contracted basically as managers for other large scale farms, sold to Whole Foods, a lot of places like that. And I was working for another farm, and when COVID hit, we got furloughed, and we just decided to go for it and start our own farmers markets and restaurant accounts and things like that.
Yeah, now bring
Oh,
Julie
interesting. Okay. Now, that's awesome, Calvin. And I thought you were. I know you. So I thought that you were selling last year. But let me introduce you to Julie Petrocco, because she's on the other end of that. She's for. I'm not sure. Have you heard of the Petrocco family farms?
Oh yeah, I've farmed for several for Tagawa's, the Full Circle, Rocky Mountain Pumpkin Ranch. A lot of the side of things. Now we're in the micro side of things.
Nice. Okay, so you've been working for people like Dave Asbury over there at Rocky Mountain and Full Circle, weather. And this is Julie. So Julie, what are you guys seeing with someone like Calvin? Is there anything that you could give Calvin some of that little advice for someone who's just growing up right now?
First of all, I think it's awesome that you have the experiences you have, and that you want to pursue this on the level that you want to do. I think that's super cool. To take off with that experience and make it your own. Amen to that.
Nice.
And I think not knowing, and you said when you said COVID, that this pressed you to do this because of COVID. It's sometimes that change is good, I believe, and it may have led you to that, and that's really cool because you especially looking into this season. I know on our side, we weren't sure what kind of season we were going to have, right? We didn't know how the consumers were going to react. How obviously the restaurants closing was a big impact, but it's actually had a total opposite effect. We are busier than ever. People are buying, people are supporting, and we didn't anticipate that for sure. We were actually pretty scared there for a while. So I hope the same for you is where I'm going with that. I hope that you're feeling a good welcoming, and you're able to, in turn, be quite successful here and quickly. That would be cool.
That is
awesome.
We've
had a really great start. We honestly, we kind of got started. We were already doing a victory garden for ourselves, and we just doubled the space. And we had actually expected, mostly when COVID hit, to focus our efforts on donating all of our extras to the Colorado food banks, because we assumed that people would be in dire need of food with all of the joblessness and losing homes and things like that. And so that was a big motivating factor. We really didn't even expect to be selling more than a few CSAs, and it just kind of snowballed, actually. Now we're doing the Boulder County farmers markets, and we deliver from Boulder to the Fort Collins and Greeley area, and there was really a considerably larger demand than we even expected. Because we just pretty much started thinking, oh, we're just going to try and help out the community because people are going to need food this season.
Mm-hmm.
And Calvin, what kind of crops are you growing out there?
So we do diversified vegetable crops. So market garden, we have a 1/2-acre market garden, and we do CSAs and then a weekly subscription. We also sell on our online store. and we grow pretty much everything you would find in the grocery store, plus like Hackeri, salad turnips, and some specialty varieties of tomatoes and things like that. We also do. I contracted 3 acres of CBD hemp just to kind of pad the wallet a little bit this season. Doing that just as a grow for hire custom grow contract. And then we grow 2 small ladies. I've got 2 daughters out here that run around.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you're a scrapper, for sure.
Hey, Brian, from
now,
the stream, the matriarch, Susan Petrocco, says, my husband says the only 2 things he can't control is me, his wife, and Mother Nature.
I love that, Susan.
And that's kind of why we're here today, talking weather.
I love it. Well, and that's exactly. So thank you, Greg, because I was going to ask, both of you, I'd like to hear from each one of you. What could a freeze do for you, and are you prepared?
Big dip. I mean, it's in the forecast. You look at forecasts. How much is
sure?
Our forecast
well, but remember
relevant?
now, it's got to be a hard freeze to really sometimes affect all their stuff.
How can you look ahead? What do you do?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I believe that Farmer's Almanac was predicting a mid-September chill. I believe because I thought I heard about this earlier in the year.
I'm so
but
curious.
what are you guys doing that can prepare you? And it's because it's going to be interesting hearing on both sides of this, you guys, because Calvin, on your side, you're able to control things because you've got a little smaller acreage. With someone like Julie, she's not. So go right ahead, Calvin. Tell us what are you doing, and are you taking any precautions to try to stave this cold we might have next week?
Well, so coming from, wholesale, generally speaking, row crop over 1,000 acres, you just think happy thoughts mainly. But on our scale this season, we are still kind of taking that same approach. I mean, there's really not a lot you can do in a hard freeze. We are going to throw out frost cloth. We do floating row cover. And then pretty much is what it is. If you're farming's not for the faint of heart. So you take your licks, you think happy thoughts, and you get through it. You plan for the worst and hope for the best. We grew a large amount of brassicas and cold tolerant crops for that exact reason every season, so that if you do freeze out on your hot season crops early, you can still provide your shoulder season crops.
Nice.
Now, the scale of Petrocco Farms, though, right, there's a lot to lose.
A lot. Well, there's and I have a different question for Julie, because with her, it goes into like crop insurance, and do they get it, and does it cover that late in the season? When does it run out? Because like you said, she's working.
And is there any new technology that helps with the, how do you keep the temperature a little bit? I need to know. Julie, just school us on what do you do when something like this is coming your way?
Well, I'll be glad to relay it from the farmer. I'm not the farmer, but I've grown up in this, and typically what they'll do is they're just going to irrigate the heck out of it Monday. So this will create. You send the water down in between, and it'll keep the ground warm enough. Is what we call you're kind of setting up a buffer, if you will, and. So that really helps because we have mostly furrow irrigation here. We have some drip irrigation, which you mentioned, Greg. That's more technology speaking because that drip tape is laying under the ground. So that those farms, obviously, we can't use that strategy because the water is already being supplied. But that's one strategy that we use. And the other one is just good old-fashioned get out there and pick like crazy. We're going to make a big pass through most of the peppers and beans, tender things that will be susceptible to loss because of a freeze. So Calvin hit it well. This is the game we play. This is the risk that we take, and And to Mom's point, it's one of the few things we can't control is the weather. So we do watch that forecast, and luckily this one looks like it's supposed to warm up right after that. So hopefully our strategies work, and we're going to pack every single cooler we have will be jam-packed by Monday.
Yeah.
And that's the best we can do.
So Susan Petrocco says get no crop insurance for perishables. And
she's right. The crop insurance, it is possible. We do not purchase crop insurance because the different types of vegetables that we produce have we plant so many together, if you will. So you're looking at your acreage, and as you can see here, there's different crops planted right next to each other, and they have different thresholds for weather, really. And because we plant so much in one area, it would cost way too much and be unaffordable.
And Julie, does it mean anything for you because you all are so large that you're able to diversify your fields? Does that play in for you?
Yeah, absolutely. He mentioned the brassicas. They again, you have different thresholds. So we that's why we do plant so many different commodities, just kind of rolling that dice, if you will. And we also spread out over 45 miles because, believe it or not, there's a 5-degree temperature difference typically between Brighton, where we are standing here, and say Greeley, where our other farms stretch north.
It's a little warmer in Greeley, right?
It is, and it's so, again, that's another reason that we choose to spread out, because we're taking we can choose which crops we plant where, basically.
Colorado is an interesting thing, Brian, because they say, if you don't like the weather, you wait 10 minutes. Yep. And as we go from 90-degree temperatures on Monday to, 30-plus on Tuesday, and we also hear this as well, weather forecasters, the only people that can get it wrong half the time and still continue to have a job. Well, that's an interesting proposition because there's always that, man, it never even happened to us. It's 60 degrees or so. It dipped a little bit, but you did all of these things.
I know, you gleaned all your fields, and then you could have let it go. And
it could have been just
okay.
Yeah, could have been just fine. Both of you guys jump in. I have one, if you don't mind, Brian. I have one question. Just for the people, I'm a balcony farmer. And
here we go.
That's what I do. Well, I don't, and we're heading to Florida next week, so my mom's going to come water the plants. But what do I need to do to come back from Florida a week later during this frost to be able to make sure that my balcony jalapenos will be there when I get back?
I'll tell you what. I'll just put a nickel on your doorstep, and then
Julie,
that should cover everything.
Hey, Jay, those 4 jalapenos taste delicious.
Yeah, that's right. You guys want to come over for a jalapeno party? Don't invite anybody.
You, Greg.
Thank you, Julie. What can my mother do when she's there taking care of my plants and other people that are watching and they have home gardens?
You say balcony. How long are you gone?
We're gone for a week, so she's going to water, but she says if you want me to do anything outside of watering, you better set it up for me so I don't have to go looking. So do I need
can anything be pulled inside, or are we in the ground?
In the ground.
I have planters. I have planters that can be pulled inside. Is that the easy thing?
Pull them inside.
Okay.
I would say for just a week's time, and then just have them out when it's nice. But if they're in planters,
you just have to find.
How about backyard farmers that are, they've got a crop out back and they're preparing for this freeze on Tuesday? What do those folks do?
It's more manageable. Yeah, if you have a smaller space, just cover them as you would flowers. In the spring. That when we get a threat of snow and you've already planted your flowers, cover them and just with a sheet and some rocks around the side. Just try to cover what you can and give them extra water.
So saturate them too.
And Greg, you might be able to get away with just a pillowcase.
Hey.
A sheet, pillowcase.
I'll give my jalapenos
baby blanket.
pillows.
Freeman, can you let me do the funny stuff, please? Because otherwise I don't have anything. So
thank these guys, Freeman.
Well, I want to jump back to Calvin real quick because Calvin, I want to ask. You'd spoken earlier. Where can people find you and Stubborn Roots Farm?
So we have Instagram page at Stubborn Roots Farm, and then website stubbornrootsfarm.com. You can order through the online store. We deliver to Fort Collins, Longmont, Boulder areas. You can additionally do the Facebook, which is just Stubborn Roots Farm. Pretty simple. That's where you can find us. We also do the Boulder County Farmers Market on Wednesdays. And we're just, like I said, we're just getting started. We're really happy to be downsizing from wholesale production and actually getting to interact with our customers, instead of just selling to Whole Foods and having to drive a semi truck to Whole Foods. I get to interact with face to face with people that really appreciate what we do every day, and we're just seeing where it takes us.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, congratulations,
Interesting
Calvin.
business
and
to be in, Calvin.
Wish the best for you. I mean, that is super cool. And maybe it is where we crossed paths was over at Asbury's, but I know you. So let's connect if you're ever in town. We'd love to have you in studio, Calvin, and have you on the show again. Yeah, and we should be able to get
bed sheets. People are coming in on the stream. Susan Petrocco says bed sheets. Matt from the stream says bed sheets. Put bed sheets over your backyard crops.
Yep,
is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, bed sheets are good for small folks, and then you can use. It's called Agribon. It's just a frost cloth that comes anywhere between 2 degrees and 10 degrees buffer. It's pretty cheap. You can usually buy it anywhere between 300 and 3,000 feet rolls. Probably a little late to be ordering it this time of year, but that's what we use.
Nice. I've got an idea. I'm going to cover all of my peppers with COVID masks. The little pepper COVID mask. That should work perfectly, man. I'm telling you what. I think I'm on to something there.
Well, you can pick that one that's red. We should pick the red one because that's overdone.
Yeah, I'm looking at Priscilla Campos from the stream says, we love Petrocco Farms. Thank you to the farmers everywhere.
Priscilla.
Yeah, Lord knows my humble
I
little...
love her.
She's with me, man. Lord knows my humble little garden wouldn't be able to make enough for a salad. I'm saying I can make a few tacos, man, up on my... That's for sure. Thank you.
Jay, come on. Can you be funny, please? You're not allowed. I'm not allowed to do it anymore, you know?
No, well, not on the spot. So.
Well, thank you, Calvin. Thank you, Calvin.
We love you, Julie.
And we love you, Julie. You know it. We
love you too, you guys.
A great summer dinner series with Julie and the Petrocco family, and we're looking at extending that to the fall summer dinner series coming up soon at Logan Street. Whole new concept. We're going to give the chefs the ingredients. They're going to make the menus with the same ingredients. And so we're going to get 5 nights of 5 different menus from 5 different Colorado chefs, 5 ways. We're excited. We are excited.
Awesome.
So, Calvin, we'll have to tie you into that as well. And I think we're about wrapped up, guys.
Well, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll put a cherry on top of this Freaky Friday. These guys, thank you so much.
Thank you,
wanted
guys.
To check in on the weather.
Thanks for having us, you guys. Good luck, Calvin.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks, you too.
You can blame it on the weather, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that's a scary thing, especially when they're, no insurance, right? Whew.
Yeah.
That's
it's
a
tough, it's
and
like.
there went why CSAs were really invented, right? Give me the money up front.
Yeah. Well, it's share in the share in the risk
and the reward.
And the reward, yeah.
It could be abundant.
The spoils
it could be terrible. So talking to the farmers, I wrote it down here, Freeman, on the thing. We need either a weekly or a monthly just farm report. Yeah.
Did you see me get fired up?
You love it.
Fired up with Freeman on Fridays.
You love it. I do want to recap and just quickly when we get back talk about Zeal. Then we have an appointment in about 30 minutes down at Carboy with the Colorado Restaurant Association. We've really grown fond of those folks through COVID. You're doing a great job. Hey, you remember when I said when Brian comes up and hosts, every word is punctuated with a period and then starts a new sentence, but it's all words. So it's like Julie Petrocco Farms. Now, next, everything's got a period, man. I love it. Take us into break doing the same type of thing.
Okay, so Friday, Freaky Friday, here at the Modern Eder, Denver, Colorado right now, but we're usually on the road visiting farms and restaurants and food producers. If you're in the food and beverage world, you want to check us out. You want to get involved with this networking group. It is Friday, September 4th.
Big week ahead, Brian.
Big, huge week ahead because we're going on the road and you want to stay tuned because you might find some new restaurants in a new state from our new road trip that Greg and I are doing to Fort Myers, Florida. So we're going to take a break with our sponsors.
And come right back.
Come right back. The Modern Eder Show.
Hey guys, at Modern Eder, this is Rich O'Brien with Elevation Food Service Reps. I'm here with one of ourselves, a newly appointed hospitality specialist, Kalina Hilliard. And we're here in our showroom, and we've got our bar set up, we've got a lot of time. Come see us, come see what we've got, and Kalina can help you guys out in the world of hospitality with anything. Take a little journey into the 38th Avenue kitchen just to see what's going on in here. And as I come in here, I'm noticing, Howard, what are you doing? Nothing. Show me, what are you doing? Nothing. Nothing? Look at this beautiful equipment in here. Look at this beautiful. Chefs, restaurateurs, anybody that has anything to do with food service, come on over. We'd love to help you with menu development, love to show you everything about equipment, and maybe we'll even have a few pops.
Hey there, Barbecue All-Star. This is your year, so what if you weren't drafted? The only draft you need to be worried about is actually spelled D-R-A-U-G-H-T, and it's adult for the word beer. It's barbecue season, baby. Now get out there and grill your ass off.
Hey guys, it's Brian Rizzuto with Encore Energy, the guy who saves your businesses money on natural gas. I know these are crazy, crazy times right now. So while your business is working on increasing your sales, let me work on saving you guys money on your natural gas. I make it as easy as possible. Just provide 12 months worth of natural gas bills to me. I'll do the rest. I know you're really busy, so let me get to work for you. You can reach me at 720-245-5771. I look forward to hearing from you guys, and let me try to save you some money in these crazy times. Bye.
Hi, Charlie from Brews Beers here, and I'd like to tell you about our brand new Abbey 4-pack, featuring the 4 main products of Abbey and Trappist breweries in Belgium. So there's the single, the double, the triple, and the quadruple. And let's talk about singles today. Singles or ankles are traditionally monks beers served at meal times and during the day. They're low in alcohol, 3 to 5.5%, and they're often second runnings from stronger beers like triples or quadruples. This one is 3.8% ABV, and it's made from the second runnings from our triple. So what they're known for is lightness and drinkability. They're biscuity flavor with distinct hoppiness, and they're very refreshing. Great summer beers, available at either Brews location, 67th and Pecos, or at Colfax in York, and at fine liquor stores throughout the metro area. Pick up your Abbey 4-pack today and take home some Belgian-style badassery.
And we are back. It is Friday, September 4th in the Mile High City. You are watching the Modern Eder Show live every day from 2 to 4. We're right here giving you all the insight on the latest food and beverage news. If it's food and beverage and it's happening in this state,
we got it.
We got it.
Yeah, man.
And so I want to welcome everybody back. This is a Labor Day weekend. We should check in with the poll real quick. And
should Zeal have been kicked to the curb from what you were hearing? And this is just folks that had the first run around on this. There may be folks that are joining the stream now or late through it, but 100% of people said no. He should not have been kicked to the curb. And, Brian, I keep going back to it just rings in my ear. Good folks. You pay me.
Yeah.
And it's the daisy chain on down the line. And, you know, you'd hate to see anybody's stuff out in the driveway if it's your house or out in
for sure.
Well, it's just a lack of compassion and understanding.
But where does it begin and end? Where does it begin?
That's what I say. Is that to where that's a conversation? To where it's like we had Wayde on, right? Because obviously some things went down. It's like, and so you have to walk the line because you just don't know the whole story. It's like jumping on the bandwagon on one side or the other. When it's like you don't know, so we're in a weird position to where if you don't know, like you can't be like Wayde or landlord because you don't know.
Yeah. Well, because on one side, it's real easy to paint a quick picture, right?
Sure.
It's easy to say, hey, big bad landlord owns all this property, international company, little old poor Wayde, who's just a independent restaurateur in Colorado. Why don't we go on his side? And as all of us want to, right? I mean, Wayde seems like a good guy, seems like he's got his act together, and everyone wants to support the little guy, and including myself, as I have been the little guy. But to Greg's point, show me the money.
F you pay me.
me.
I was correct, and I think this is residential real estate, and this is really the conundrum from a lot of people wanting to even be in the business for rentals and those types of things. The new eviction moratorium, what you need to know. So the Trump administration did order that evicted through December 31st. That moratorium will take place through the end of the year. What does that mean? It means, boy, if you're renting someplace, and I have to wonder. This is just an aside. Say you went to an Airbnb and you checked in and said, "I'm not checking out." Would that be covered under the renters moratorium if you had an agreement?
It's interesting.
For eviction moratorium, would that be covered under that? I mean, could you not be ousted out of the home? You just order everything in, I guess. Because the second you go outside,
you're not coming
you
back
better
in.
invite your whole family over to hold down the fort. But seriously, squatters at this point in time. What about commercial real estate? So we're seeing that. Is there going to be a mandate that comes down? Or an executive order that says, look, we're not going to let you kick out businesses onto the street. They're doing it with renters.
Wasn't that what PPP, though, was for? I mean, I felt like on the business side.
That was Paycheck Protection Program, and that was really just to keep people employed. That wasn't.
Oh, it was a PPE? Or wait, what was it?
PPE is personal protection equipment. PPE is personal payroll protection. And that's just to keep people employed. That's what it was supposed to be used for. Some owner-operators, and you're right, there were rent, utilities, other things that could be used by the PPE, but generally that was to keep people at work, to keep people
I just asked that because I know other businesses that told me. Mm-hmm. They just said, hey, listen, we were making enough money for daily operations, so what I did is I just paid a couple months' rent with that money because I was able to hold my staff, and holding the staff qualified them to be forgiven on the money. And so I think we're wading through a bunch of stuff, and it's just going to get right now is the time. Right. It's going to get worse because now we're 6 months in, and there comes a breaking point as a landlord or as a business where I can't let you ride on my back anymore, and I have to do what's good for my investors.
Well, it's interesting as we've talked about the attrition on Main Street and what we're looking at, and really how every situation is being handled the same, but every situation has plenty of nuances. Yeah. Some people are great owner-operators. Some people are terrible. Some people chose not to pivot. Some people chose to pivot their businesses. At the end of the day, what you're seeing is our businesses just trying to struggle for viability and keep some kind of traction altogether. So we've seen some businesses thrive. We've seen some businesses not do so well. But what we have seen as well is that the more that there's government intervention, is when the government decides to put people on the dole, the turbo unemployment, that was a big hiccup in our unemployment because a lot of people chose that it's going to be a lot easier for me to just sit on the bench than to get back to work. Or the other folks that say, hey, I'm at high risk. I'm one of those people that I probably shouldn't go back to work in a high-risk situation, so this is perfect for me, and thank you very much. I appreciate it. There's always the folks that take advantage of a certain situation. When the turbo unemployment went to ground and no longer available, Congress was dragging their heels on another insurgence of money into
And
the
still
terrible
are, yeah.
unemployment. Well, the point being is that when that was taken away, and listen, kicking and screaming, but people are resilient as human beings altogether, you really find out what can and cannot be done. The unemployment numbers just came out a day ago, I believe. And so for the August unemployment, it's under 1 million unemployment claims. That is a low of new claims that is an all-time low since COVID had struck. So what we're seeing here is that pullback away, and maybe that's what needs to take place right now with rental properties, with commercial property, is just let it all find its own level again. And I'm sorry, but if you can't make your rent or you can't pay your lease, that you're going to have to go. So just because you're not there, that's still a vacant building for your landlord.
Yeah.
They still have to pay their banker, and they have to pay their mortgage on the property. So it will be that trickle effect, but I don't know that we can have another round of government intervention to keep more bad businesses alive. And to keep businesses that do need the help. I think that what you're seeing right now is that adaptation by not having that government intervention is forcing people to now work under the constraints of what COVID is showing it. And some people would say that they're managing. They're getting through.
Yeah, well, I think they are, Greg, and you're
property
bringing up
taxes,
something.
Property taxes are going to be a big thing because that's being passed along to the tenant, where you have inflated property taxes all over the place right now because your building that sat in downtown Denver and was worth X amount of dollars is only as much as somebody will pay for it now or rent it. And with that being said, that money is being passed along to the guy who's at the end of the day renting that property. That's where we're going to start to see the rubber hit the road for all of these things. So.
Well, and you made a great point on the residential side, Greg. My bigger concern is this eviction protection is only going to go through the end of the year. And if people aren't paying attention right now, they're not forgiving your rent. What they are doing is saying, today you don't have to pay it, but you will have to pay it.
Oh, no, they're just saying you're not getting kicked out right now.
Yeah, you're not getting kicked out.
But you're going to have a big bill at the end of the year.
That's what I'm saying.
And then we will kick your ass out.
Yep.
So what they're trying, and again, I mean, this is basically just putting a tourniquet on a hemorrhaging arm that's been severed off of a body. And so it's going to be interesting. We'll follow this. We'll watch it. But what you saw today on the Modern Eater show is remarkable because this is the first time, in my estimation, I've seen a picture here locally of someone shit on the curb.
Yeah,
and it's not
hands
shit,
down.
And I should take that back. It's not shit. It's their
livelihood.
Their everything in their business. But where does it end? Who does it end with?
So here's my two. Well, first, I don't know if I'm still supposed to be paying my mortgage or not as I look at as you guys go back and forth.
You'll pay it on the back end of your mortgage.
And so here's the thing: so I haven't paid my mortgage since the COVID thing stopped, and so that's why I'm
as long as
able
you're in
to do a lot of
communications.
stuff. But now, where we're at, right? My mortgage company is now. It's almost every day that it's an email saying like, "Okay, hey, listen, we understand that everything's rough, and but we're getting up on now where it's like, okay, we have to make some decisions, right? And you have to decide how you're paying us back.
Back end and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, that's what I have to do. Yeah. Otherwise, they're like, or you can just, so
fine.
basically 6 months.
Here, to count your lucky stars that's not your second property and you're renting that out to someone who's not paying you at all.
Well, absolutely.
Or that you have enough equity, though, because you're in a very good position, and I don't mean to divulge this over the air, but you're in a good position of where you actually have equity in your house.
Hey, man, he's part of the Modern Eater crew. We're making bank around here.
Because there's a lot of people who have no equity,
right?
And those people, there's no refinance. You're lucky to sell your house, and after you pay the fees, not have to show up with a check to sell your house. So life is going to continue to get interesting. We're going to be here for you, though, at the Modern Eater, sharing everything we can.
3:36. We got a meeting to do, a long weekend ahead, stuff
So everybody, be safe this weekend out on the roads.
Monday.
Be kind and courteous to your friends. Be safe when you're traveling. Know before you go what the rules are around wearing a mask or not wearing a mask
when you're traveling,
and how to treat
Great
others.
Point, Brian.
You know, we are all brothers and sisters here in Colorado,
Good Lord.
and let's be kind to one another as these tensions get high. Thank you for joining us at the Modern Eater. For Jay Parker, Greg Holland,
Go Broncos!
And my friend over there, we call her Paige or Faith, whatever you like. We're at the Modern Eater, and we'll see you Monday, live from Florida.